நமசிவாய வாழ்க, நாதன்தாள் வாழ்க, இமைப்பொழுதும் என் நெஞ்சில் நீங்காதான் தாழ் வாழ்க. வணக்கம், 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 வணக்கம் மாணவர்களே, நலமா இருக்கீங்களா? இன்றைய காணொலியை காண வந்திருக்கும் உங்கள் அனைவரையும் வருக வருக என்று வரவேற்கின்றோம். டைனாபுக் மலேசியா யூடியூப் சேனலை இன்னும் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாதவங்க தயவு செய்து சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிக்கங்க. நீங்க செய்வதற்கு உங்களுக்கு உதவியாக இருக்கும். சரியா மாணவர்களே? தொடர்ந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா இன்றைய பாடத்தில் நம்மளை இணைவிக்கும் ஆசிரியர் ஆசிரியர் திருமதி பிரசன்னலதா. அவர் ஆங்கில மொழி பாடத்தோடு நம்ம சந்திக்க வர இதோ ஆசிரியர் பிரசன்னலதா அவர்களை அன்போடு அழைக்கின்றோம்.
So, with a new topic today. So, without further ado, I'll start with my lesson. So, let's look into what I have for you today. Okay, today's lesson is going to be on sentence pattern and sentence structure. This is a very important topic because this is going to help you a lot when it comes to essay writing. Okay. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself to you. My name is Prasana Latha Silvalingam. I'm currently teaching in SK Convent Kajang. So that is my email address. You can reach me through that email address with your questions or anything to do with English. Based on the previous lesson conducted, I have received a few emails from you. I'm very glad and I'm very happy with that. So I hope to hear more from you so that we can keep in touch and progress together. Okay, now we will look into the objective of today's lesson. So first, we will be able to construct sentences based on 4 sentence structures, construct sentences using fixed sentence types, and also we will be able to complete exercises on sentence pattern and sentence structure on virtual learning platforms. So first, we will learn what is sentence and clause. Okay, sentence is a group of words that generally contains a subject and a main verb. Okay, subject usually refers to a person or sometimes in certain cases, in certain sentences, is a thing. Main verb is an action that takes place in that sentence, yeah? A sentence also contains correct punctuation. What is punctuation? Capital letters, small letters, comma, your full stops, here question marks, exclamation marks, all those are punctuation. You should be very definite on where to use capital letters, small. A clause is a set of words that contains a subject and a verb. Okay, there's 3 types of clauses. The first one is independent clause. Independent means it brings meaning on its own as a sentence. We could not we will not be able to get a meaning on that sentence. Next is relative clause, provides extra information about a noun. It's type of a subordinate clause, which means it gives an extra information about the noun used in that sentence. Okay, first we will talk about sentence structures. Okay, when we are talking about sentence structures, we have four types of sentence structures. The first one would be simple sentence. The next one, compound sentence, followed by complex and also compound complex sentences. In today's lesson, I'm going to bring you closer to each types of sentence structures. Now we will look into simple sentences first. Okay, let me read to you what is a simple sentence. Simple sentence contains one independent clause. If you remember what I mentioned about independent clause, it's a sentence that can bring its own meaning. It doesn't need an extra dependent clause or subordinate clause or anything else to support the sentence. It stands by its own. Yeah, it contains a subject and a verb. It conveys a meaning. So I have given you four examples there. Let's read together. I like spaghetti. The baby laughs. He reads many books. Raju drinks milk. Okay, can you give me any other examples? For instance, the sun shines. The birds fly. Right? Those are some other examples that you can think of. If you could see here, I like spaghetti. There's a subject and also there's a verb. You can see here, I is the subject, like is the verb here, followed by the baby laughs. The subject in this sentence is the baby, and the verb in this sentence is laughs. Okay, in this sentence, he reads many books. What is the subject? Raju drinks milk. The subject in this sentence is Raju. The verb is drinks. Okay, now we'll look into compound sentences. Okay, let us read. Okay, there's some technical errors. There's some echoes in background, double voices. So I'm going to stop my screen for a while and we're going to reshare it. இல்ல அவங்க தான் மெசேஜ் பண்றாங்க Okay, sorry students for the technical errors. We will start from where we stopped just now. But because I've got an information saying that when I was presenting on simple sentences, there were echoes. So I'm going to just repeat myself for simple sentences. So if you look at simple sentences, Alright, students, I'm so sorry. There were some technical errors. So we have to hold our presentation for a bit, and I'm back here. So hopefully things will be in our favor. So I'm just gonna start back from my first slide. Okay, so this is gonna be my introduction. Today's lesson will be on sentence patterns and also sentence structures. So this is me myself. My name is Miss Prasana. I'm from SK Convent Kajang. You can always reach me through my email address here. So if you have any questions regarding English or the presentation or the lessons that I'm conducting, you can always ask me through my email address here. So at the end of today's lesson, pupils will be able to construct sentences based on 4 sentence structures, construct sentences using fixed sentence types, and also complete exercises on virtual learning platform. Okay, now I'll tell you what is sentence and also clause. Okay, what is a sentence? Sentence is a group of words that generally contains a subject and a main verb. A sentence also contains correct punctuation. So let us look here. Subject means what is the sentence is talking about. Yeah, subject means it could be a person, it could be a thing, it could be a situation, right? Main verb means is the action that takes place. Punctuation here refers to capital letters, small letters, full stops, comma, question marks, exclamation marks. So we must be very sure when and where to use those sentences, yeah? I mean those punctuations. A clause, on the other hand, is a set of words that contains a subject and a verb. Okay, when we are talking about clauses, there are 3 types of clauses. The first one is independent clause, followed by subordinate clause, and also relative clause. So what is an independent clause? Independent clause means brings meaning on its own as a sentence. The sentence might be very short, but it brings meaning by its own, yeah? You don't have to have any additional words. It could be just a subject and a verb, and that sentence is complete. On the other hand, subordinate clause means a dependent clause, means the sentence could not stand by itself. It needs an independent clause to bring meaning to that sentence. Relative clause means provides an extra information about the noun. It is a type of subordinate clause. So when there's a noun in your sentences, and you tend to describe the noun, then it will be a relative clause. Okay, first we will talk about sentence structures. There are 4 sentence structures that we're going to learn today. The first one will be simple sentences. Okay, simple sentence contains one independent clause. If you can remember, independent clause could be a short sentence which consists only a subject and a verb, and it brings meaning, stands on its own. So the same thing, it contains a subject and a verb, it conveys a meaning. So here teacher have given you 4 examples. The first one is, I like spaghetti. The baby laughs. He reads many books. Raju drinks milk. Okay, let us identify the subject and the verb in each of these sentences. I like spaghetti. What is the subject here? Is definitely I. What about the verb? Like. The baby laughs. The subject in this sentence would be the baby. Laugh would be the verb. He reads many books. The subject in this sentence is he. Reads is the verb. Raju drinks milk. Raju is the subject in the sentence. Drinks is the verb in the sentence. Yeah. Now let us look into compound sentence. Okay, compound sentence consists two independent clauses and are linked by coordinating conjunction. So what is coordinating conjunctions? Okay, for you to remember these conjunctions, there are 7 of them. There's an acronym for it. You can call it as Fanboys. F stands for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, so is S is for so. So if you look at the first letter of each of these coordinating conjunction, it creates the word fan boys. So through this acronym, you could remember coordinating conjunctions better. Now let's look at each of these conjunctions. For, it brings the meaning because or since. I have to find a new job, for I am unemployed. I have to find a new job, for I am unemployed. So the word for here brings the meaning because or since. Now let's look at the word and. It brings the meaning in addition to. There's an extra thing, extra information or extra sentences that need to be added. Yeah, I am a husband and a father. So the subject here is a husband and also a father. There's an addition of roles to the subject. He's also a husband and also a father. Now let's look at nor. Nor brings the meaning and not. Neither my parents nor my friends supported me. So there's two. Okay, the subject in this sentence is me. My parents nor my friends supported me. Okay, now let's look at the next conjunction, but. But brings the meaning however. I am hungry, but I did not bring my lunchbox. I was sick, but I went to school. If you could see here, there's one sentence here. I am hungry. I did not bring my lunchbox. There's two independent sentences which is linked by the conjunction but. Which color do you like? Red or blue? Or brings the meaning either one of. You have choices, so you will be using the word or. Yet brings a meaning. It also has the same meaning like but. Tom plays basketball well, yet his favorite sports is football. You can see here he actually plays basketball well, but his favorite sports is football. Two different sentences, yeah? Two different preferences. So the last one would be so. The meaning of so is therefore. She was sick, so she couldn't attend the school. It's more like giving reasons to an action, yeah? She was sick, so she couldn't attend the school. Let's look some more examples that I have given here. She was hungry, so she made herself some noodles. As I mentioned earlier, compound sentences consist of two independent clauses. If you look at this sentence, the coordinating conjunction used is so. For a second, just ignore the word so, and look at the two other sentences in this whole sentence. The first sentence would be she was hungry. She was hungry is an independent sentence. She made herself some noodles. That's another independent sentences. Both these independent sentences can be written as single sentences. But when we are making compound sentences, we are linking both of them using a coordinating conjunction, and in this case the sentence is connected using the coordinating conjunction. So let's look at the second one. She is going to the mall. She is going to the cinema. The first sentence would be she is going to the mall. The second sentence, she's going to the cinema. Both these independent clauses are linked using or. The third sentence, she is not sad nor she is angry. The first independent sentence in this sentence is she is not sad, followed by she is angry. The last sentence is I am very smart, yet I do not enjoy going to school. The first sentence, I am very smart. The second independent sentence in this whole sentence is I do not enjoy going to school. Both these independent sentences are linked with the word yet. Now we will look into complex sentences. Okay, complex sentence contains one independent clause and one subordinate clause. Subordinate clause are linked by either a subordinating conjunctions or relative pronoun. So before we look into complex sentences, I'd like to explain what is a subordinating conjunction and also relative pronouns. First, we will look into subordinating conjunction. Okay, subordinating conjunctions has a lot. So I've just picked a few for you. So some can be used for comparison. Those are then, rather than, whether, as much as, whereas. Time, after, as soon as, until, whenever, now, that. Concession, though, although, even though. Relative pronouns, who, whoever, whom, whomever, whose. Place, where and wherever. Reason, because, since, so that, in order, as. Relative adjectives, that, whatever, which, whichever. Condition, if, only if, unless, providing that, assuming that. In manner, how, as though, as if. Okay, I understand that this is a lot to comprehend over a single lesson. What you can do is always come back to these slides and have a look and try to create more sentences using all these subordinating conjunctions. Now we will look into relative pronoun. Okay, if you could see here, there are 8 relative pronouns here. The first one would be the first one would be who, relates to people, subject. The example of a sentence, the musician who wrote this song is French. Whom, relates to people. I know the boy whom sits next to you. Okay, a lot of us will usually confuse ourselves with the usage of who and whom. If you can see here, it's written here, relates to people, subject. Okay, in this sentence, the subject is musician. So the who here refers to the subject. So the musician who wrote this song is French. So you can see that who here is used to describe the subject. Looking at whom relates to the object. It's also a people, but the person would be on the object. Okay, I know the boy who sits next to you. I here is the subject in the sentence. Know is the verb. The boy is an object. So whom here refers to the object, which is the boy. So I know the boy who sits next to you. You can see the difference. This when the sentence is used, when we are using who, it has to be describing the subject. When we are using whom, the additional information should be describing the object. Next is which relates to animals and object. This is the cake which Mary made. So which is referring to the cake. Why refers to reason. Do you know the reason why the market is closed today? So they are giving reason why the market is closed. When refers to time. The day when the concert takes place is Saturday. So it's referring to a time frame. Where refers to place. This is the house where my son was born. Whose refers to possessions. Possession. The boy whose phone just rang should stand up. Talking about belongings, yeah? Okay, now let's look at the examples of complex sentences that I have made for you. She bought the crayon because she likes it. Okay, you can see here, I have used the red ink to highlight the independent clause, while a maroon color to show the subordinate clause in the sentences. She bought the crayon because she likes it. So the independent clause in this sentence is she bought the crayon, while the subordinate clause is because she likes it. Let's look at the second sentence. Although it was very long, the movie was still enjoyable. So the independence clause in this sentence would be the movie was still enjoyable, although it was very long. Now I'd like to tell you why are these sentences are called the subordinate clause, because when you read this, although it was very long, it does not give you any meaning. Okay, let's look at the third one. I forgot to pack my toothbrush since I was late for the bus. The last one would be I could not wait for the reunion, which is next week. If you look at this, which is next week, does not convey a meaning, but it makes sense when it's written in a complete sentence. So that's what we call a complex sentence. We have one independent clause and one subordinate clause, which are linked by either a subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. Now we will look into the final sentence structure, that is compound complex sentences. A compound complex sentences contain two or more independent clause and one or more dependent clause, which means the sentence going to get longer. So because it contains minimum two independent clause or could be more, and also with one independent clause. These clauses are linked with a coordinating conjunctions. What are coordinating conjunctions? I have told you earlier. If you remember the fanboys, yeah? 7 types of coordinating conjunctions. Okay, let's look at this sentence. Erin loves her brother. 1 independent clause. He loves her too. Another independent clause which is linked by a coordinating conjunction, followed by 1 dependent clause because she pays his tuition fees. Let us repeat the whole sentence. Erin loves her brother and he loves her too because she pays his tuition fees. You can see the sentence has been getting longer because there are more types of clauses used in a single sentence. For example, for the first one, there's 2 independent clauses and 1 dependent clauses, which are linked with an coordinating conjunction. In this case, the coordinating conjunction used is and. Let's look at the second sentence. The dog ran away when I chased him, but it does not matter. So the first independent clause, the dog ran away. I chased him, but it does not matter is a depending clause. So it's also one complete compound complex sentences. Okay, now we're gonna do some exercises. Okay, can you look at this picture? Okay, there are 5 students in a class. So now let us label one by one what are they doing. Okay, can you actually give me responses in your chat because I could see some of you texting there. Can you give me some example? What can you see? What is the girl doing? What are the boys doing? Can you give me what is it? Okay. One of you replied Tanjia Yang. Tanjia Yang. Cleaning the table. Francis said cleaning the classroom. The boy is sweeping the floor. Choose Yi's one. Okay, good try. Okay. But now let me tell you what are they actually doing. This boy is actually watering the plant. She's wiping the table. This boy is sweeping the floor. The girl standing here is erasing the board. And this boy here is arranging the books. Now that we have known the verbs for each of these action, now let us look how can we create sentences using the 4 sentence structures that we have learned. A simple sentence. She sweeps. There's a subject and there's also a verb, and that's a complete sentence. It conveys the meaning that that girl in that picture is sweeping the floor. So you present it in a simple present tense sentence. She sweeps. Now let's look how can we create a compound sentence based on that picture. Raju is arranging the books for it was scattered on the ground. If you remember, if you can remember, compound sentence is 2 independent sentences which are linked with a coordinating conjunction. So in this sentence, Raju is arranging the books is 1 independent clause. It was scattered on the ground is the second independent clause which is linked with the coordinating conjunction for. Now let's look at . Complex sentence. Complex sentence is when one independent clause and one subordinative clause is linked with either a subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. Let's look at this. Chua is watering the plant because it is wilting. So we have one independent clause, which is Chua is watering the plant, with another subordinate clause, which is because it is wilting. Okay, now let's look at the last sentence, which is compound complex sentence. Due to coronavirus, city wiped the tables and arranged them according to the new rules. So looking back, compound complex sentence has two or more independent clause and also one dependent clause. So this would be the dependent clause. Due to coronavirus, the first independent clause would be city wiped the tables. The second one, arranged them according to the new rules. So due to coronavirus, city wiped the tables and arranged them according to the new rules. I hope you could actually understand this better, because when you're constructing a sentence, there are only 4 sentence structures that you can have, which is there are only 4, which is simple, compound, complex, and compound complex. You have to remember what are independent clause, what are dependent clause, and what are subordinate clause. So when you remember all these 3, you could easily construct sentences. Now let's look into second part of the lesson, which is sentence pattern. So what is sentence pattern? Okay, sentence pattern, we have 6 types of sentence patterns where we actually break a sentence into different parts. Okay, there are 6 patterns. We will look into the first one. The first pattern would be SV. What is SV? Let's look into that. SV means a sentence which consists of a subject and also a verb. So let's look at the examples that I have prepared for you. Horse runs. So the subject in this sentence, I have highlighted it with a red ink. So the subject is horse, the verb is runs. The next example, everyone in the hall laughs. So the subject is everyone in that hall. The verb is laughs. Subra sings. So the subject in this sentence is Subra and the verb is sings. The salesperson sleeps. So you can see that the salesperson is the subject, sleeps is the verb. So SV is one type. It's a very common and easy sentence pattern because it only requires you to have a subject and a verb in your sentences. Now let's look into the second one. It's SVA. What is SVA? Subject, verb, adjunct. What is an adjunct? Adjunct is an additional information that added into your sentence. Usually, the additional information answers the question how, when, and where. Okay, let's look at the sentences I have given you. Horse runs in the field. So the additional information in this sentence is in the field. So if you look at this, it answers the question, where does the horse runs? Everyone's in the hall laughs at the joke. Subra sings the song beautifully. So looking at this sentence, Subra is going to be the subject. The verb is going to be sings the song beautifully. How did he sing? It answers the question, how did he sing? So Subra sings the song beautifully. The salesperson sleeps during his break. So the subject is the salesperson, verb is sleeps, during his break is the adjunct, which answers the question, when does the salesperson sleep? So this is the second sentence pattern. We call it SVA when there's an additional information in the sentence which answers the question how, when, and where. Next one is SVC. Subject, verb, and complement. This C here stands when there's an additional information that describes the subject in the sentence. It could be the noun or could be an adjective. So let's look at the first sentence. She is a teacher. She is the subject, is the verb, teacher is the noun used here. So the C here is teacher, which complements the subject in the sentence, which is she. He became angry. Angry is the adjective, which describes the situation of the subject in this sentence. I am busy. They look sick. So all these words in blue is the complement that supports or talks about the subject in the sentences. So this is what we call SVC. So the C here refers to complement, in which it's an extra information that describes the subject in the sentence. It could be in the form of noun or adjectives. Next, we are going to look into subject SVOC. So SVOC is subject, verb, object complement. Yeah, when an additional information is given about the object. So in this sentence, I left the door open. I is the subject, left is the verb, the door is the object, open is the extra information about the object in this sentence. Next, we elected him president. We is the subject, elected is the verb, him is the object, president is the complement given to the object in this sentence. They named her Jane. They is the subject, named is the verb, her is the object, Jane is the complement for the object here. He called his friend a liar. He, subject, verb, called his friend, object, a liar is the complement given to the object in this sentence, his friend. So I hope you can see the difference between SVC and also SVOC. Yeah? SVC actually describes the subject in the sentence, usually in the form of nouns and adjectives, while SVOC the C describes the object in the sentence. So you must be able to identify the object on each sentence before deciding on the sentence pattern. If there is a subject and there's a complement about this subject, then it's a SVOC. On the other hand, if there's only subject, verb followed by a complement in the form of nouns or adjectives, then the sentence pattern would automatically be SVC. Now we will look into subject, verb, and object. Object actually answers the question what and whom. I drive a car. I is the subject, drive is the verb, a car is the object. So what do I drive? A car. Joe plays the guitar. Joe is the subject, plays is the verb, the guitar is the object. What does Joe play with? He plays with his guitar. They add pizza. What do they add? They add pizza. JDT won the match. JDT is the subject, won is the verb, the match. What do they want? It's a match. So if you could see, it's very clear. When there's a subject, there's a verb, and an additional information about the verb answering the question what and who, then that's the object in the sentences. Next, we will look into SVIO, SVIO-DO. What is this? It's kind of lengthy, confusing, but it's actually very simple. Let's look into it. It's actually subject, verb, indirect object, and direct object. Okay. Indirect object means, okay, in this sentence there will be an indirect object and direct object. So direct object and subjects are related, and indirect objects are not related to the subject. Usually indirect object gives an answer to the question to whom or for whom, while direct object gives an answer to what or whom. Let's look at the examples I have prepared for you. I gave her a gift. So I is the subject, gave is the verb, her is the indirect object, a gift is the direct object. Why am I saying so? Actually, I, subject, is related to the gift because I have prepared the gift to someone. To whom that he prepared the gift? He prepared the gift for her. So you could see I is related to the direct object, a gift. So I gave her a gift. Let's look at the second sentence. She teaches us English. Okay, what does she teach? She teaches English. So the answer for what is English? So definitely English means the direct object in this sentence. She teaches us English. To whom does she teaches English? She teaches English to us. So when us is the answer for the question to whom, so that's what make us as the indirect object. Let's look into like the other two examples. Tom told me jokes. I bought her dinner. So Tom told me jokes. Tom is the subject. What did Tom do? He told jokes. Whom did he tell the jokes to? Me. So Tom told me jokes. I bought her dinner. I bought her dinner. What did he bought? He bought dinner. To whom did he buys the dinner? To her. So I bought her dinner. Her is the indirect subject and dinner is the direct object. And now I've prepared a few pictures for us to actually identify the patterns on each of this picture. Let's look at this. What can you see in this picture? What can you actually see in this picture? What is the subject in this picture? Anyone could answer? What is the subject in this picture? And what is the verb related to this picture? Mahadevi, good. Son. Siuling Chen also have answered me. Son. Good. Okay, now let's look at this, the sentence that I have created using this picture. The sun shines. Okay, if you look at this sentence, we can actually break it into two. The first one would be the sun. The sun is the subject. Shines is the verb. So this makes this sentence a SV. So now let's look into the second picture. There are a few police officers here. So the sentence that we could create here is, they are police officers. So the subject here is they, the verb here are, and the object in this, the complement, okay, the complement here is officers. So they are police officers. So this is a SVC type of sentence structure because they are police officers. Police officers here refers to the subject they. Okay, let's look at this picture. There's a gardener. He is watering the plants. The gardener waters the plant. So the gardener is the subject, waters is the verb, the plants is the object. So this is a SVO type of sentence. The next one, there's a picture of someone putting on a ring. So let's see. He proposed his girlfriend with a ring. So what is this? He is the subject. Propose is the verb. His girlfriend is the indirect object. With a ring is the direct object. So this is a SVIODO type of sentence. The second last one would be she walked angrily. She is the subject. Walked is the verb. Angrily is the additional information about the action. So this is SVA. She walked angrily. The last one would be Dad painted the house green. Dad is the subject. Painted is the action. The house is the object. Green is a complement to the object. So this is SVOC. So that's all from me actually for today. So do always refer back to this slide so that you can identify 4 different sentence structures and 6 different sentence patterns which would help you to construct sentences or even to write write an essay in the future. So when you're very definite about the choice of sentence structures and sentence patterns that you're going to use when you're writing a sentence, when you're constructing a sentence, the probability for you to make a mistake would reduce. So now, let's practice. Do go to this website. You can key in or you can always come back and refer to this link. So it's https://tiny.cc/sentences. Reach to the website, to that link, and answer the questions that I have prepared for you. So that's all from me. Thank you.
மாணவர்களே நன்றி. இன்றைய பாடத்தை நீங்க கண்டு கழிச்சதுக்கு மிக மிக நன்றி. தொடர்ந்து நாளைக்கு எங்களோட நீங்க இணைஞ்சிருக்கணும். நாளைக்கு மலாய் மொழி பாடத்தோட ஆசிரியர் கற்பகம் அவங்க வரப்போறாங்க. அதுக்கு முன்பு நீங்க வந்து டைனாபுக் மலேசியா யூடியூப் சேனலை வந்து சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாதவங்க தயவு செய்து இப்பயே சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிக்கங்க. தொடர்ந்து நாளைக்கு ஆண்டு 2 சரிங்களா, SJKT ஆண்டு 2க்கு ஆசிரியர் திருமதி கற்பகம் அவர்கள் வந்து நம்மளோட இணைய போறாங்க. நாளைக்கு பிற்பகல் 2 மணிக்கு 5 ஜூன் 2020க்கு. சரியா மாணவர்களே? தொடர்ந்து எங்களோட இணைஞ்சிருக்கிறோம் நாங்கள் கேட்டுக்கிறோம். நன்றி மாணவர்களே. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.